on today's episode of Hero Syndrome? We're talking about 2017 so far. So many good games. 2017, I know I'm a very hyperbolic person. I hype a lot of things up. I have like 90 games in my top 10, whatever. But seriously, it is already one of the best years for video games. And it is impossible to keep up, but we're gonna go over a couple of my favorite games so far, a couple of the big hitters. Unfortunately, I won't be able to talk about Nier Automata. Haven't started it yet. Neo, haven't started that one yet either. And I'm only like 15 hours into Persona 5. I'm sorry. Let's go. You know what I love? You know what I love, Allies? An excuse? A reason to talk about Resident Evil. We're doing it again. Resident Evil 7. Can you believe that came out this year? The beginning of 2017 gave us Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and it delivered. It delivered on its promise to reinvent this franchise like this franchise has done so many times, whether it's going from fixed cameras to action or action to co-op. Now it goes into first person and VR. You know, after Resident Evil 6, I was a little nervous about Resident Evil 7, especially going first person. It's away from all of the series' main characters. There's no Wesker. That always hurts my soul. And it was VR. It was such a risk. It was such a bold and brave move. And it paid off. I love it. You know, when you have a franchise, a legacy to uphold, and you take a gamble, you take that big of a risk, hats off to you, Capcom, for getting it done. It was so great, and we still have Not a Hero DLC to look forward to in the future. There were even a couple DLCs that came out immediately after that were really fun. And again, this game was so much fun and honored Resident Evil, but also was its own thing. I enjoyed Resident Evil 7 so much that I look forward to future first-person Resident Evils, as long as it's not Resident Evil 2 Remake. Let's get those fixed cameras. Watching, Capcom? Next on the list, you've heard me talk about this one a couple times. Yakuza 0. At this point, expect me to talk about Yakuza for the next forever. Forever. As long as I'm breathing, I'm gonna be talking about Yakuza. All jokes aside though, Yakuza 0 also came out in 2017. And the reason I bring it up is because I wanna look back at previous years. I want to look back at like 2016, 2015, 2014, and I want to compare the Yakuza hype then versus now. 2017 was huge for this franchise. We still got Kiwami on the way and 6 in early 2018, but Yakuza 0, because it was a prequel, because people that had never played the franchise could start with 0, this was huge. This was a huge move. This let everyone that hadn't experienced any of the Yakuza games come in at the beginning and play these glorious games. It was so big that Amazon.com re-released the entire franchise. You could order all these games on Amazon. So the hype is there. 2017, the birth of Yakuza in the West. All right, next up, I apologize. I love Resident Evil and Yakuza. I bring them up what feels like every week on this show. So not every game was huge and massive in the year of 2017. There were some smaller games, and one that I want to talk about is Night in the Woods. Small game, but a huge heart. Night in the Woods, pretty much the Life is Strange of this year, and the thing that caught my eye about this game was obviously the art style. The game looks gorgeous and looks unique. It stands out on its own, which is a big thing in video games now because there's so many games. So the first thing you notice, are the visuals. Like, people say graphics aren't important, but sometimes if you don't know a game or it's not an established franchise, you just see an image and you just say, what is that? You know, what is that game? So Night in the Woods, you know, I'm just browsing on the internet, pops up, say, what is that? And I'm glad I stumbled upon that game because it is a gem in the crowded, overwhelming 2017. Night in the Woods is a breath of fresh air. I encourage anyone to give it a shot. It is about a college student that comes home for undisclosed reasons and is just trying to find her way in life, like all of us. Beautiful game. 2017, one of the best years for video games of all time. Wouldn't be that way if one of the greatest video games of all time, yeah, you can quote me on that, wasn't released. What could that be? What game could that be? Easiest 10 of all time. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It is rare. It is a treat. It is like Christmas. First of all, when a Zelda game gets released, but it is such a rare treat when all 9 allies, all 9 of us, because we all have different tastes, you know, we disagree a lot, but when all 9 of us at the same time, at the same moment, love and obsess and play the same game, that is powerful, that is magic. It takes a special game to do that. What was the last time that happened before Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild? Bloodborne. Years ago. So here we are in 2017. The Switch has arrived. Yeah, that happened. Nintendo Switch. And Legend of Zelda comes with it. Has changed the way I look at open world video games. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt raised the bar for me with open world games because of their storytelling, because of their meaningful side quests that all had a payoff and an interesting story to tell. But Zelda takes it a step further and it nails that exploration, which is huge because even The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, even Hearts of Stone, even Blood and Wine, sometimes it does feel like a checklist. It doesn't feel like a checklist because all of the quests are so awesome, they're so good. But still, you know, you're looking on the map, you're going to the little signboard, you're getting the quest, you're going to the checkpoint, you're going to the marker, you're going back here, you're following the carrot on the stick to the places, you're doing your little Witcher sense. I'm not knocking on The Witcher. Witcher's 10, I love Witcher. I need more Witcher. How about a game of Gwen? But what Zelda did, the way it just let you loose in the wild to go and explore to your heart's content, I don't know how they did it. They're wizards over at Nintendo when they make games. They are just wizards. And nothing ever felt like a checklist. I never felt like I was being pulled in a direction. The game just flows. And it absolutely just raised the bar. And it was surprisingly difficult, you know, in the early going with combat, which was really awesome. You know, I'm so used to like Wind Waker and even Twilight Princess just wrecking through mobs right out of the gate. Every encounter, you needed to pay attention. And another huge thing in open world games is loot, is picking stuff up. Again, I point at The Witcher. I'm picking on The Witcher right now because it's the best. It's up there. You know, the GTA, The Witcher, Horizon. I'm picking on the top tier. But even in The Witcher and Horizon, looking at you, Horizon Zero Dawn, which also came out this year, 2017, you know, even in those games, you're picking up so much junk, so much stuff. I don't want this. You know? Everything in The Legend of Zelda, all that food pays off, especially at the end. You start mashing on that food, start cooking those bananas, and the weapons. You know, the fact that weapons break made every time you found a weapon or a shield feel so important because those things will shatter and you gotta move on to your next one. Absolutely loved it. So nature of the show, I'm always depressed when the camera goes off, you know, because there's so many games to talk about in 2017. It's absolutely insane. There's some 2016 games that I've been playing in 2017 that are amazing. I just finished Watch Dogs 2, for example. That came out end of 2016. But we're talking about 2017. Couldn't obviously mention all the games that have come out. But that's what Talking Syndrome's for. Saturday, 11 a.m. on twitch.tv/EasyAllies. Meet me there and we will discuss the first half of 2017. And I already know how many comments I'm gonna get about Nier Automata and Persona 5 and Gravity Rush 2 and Neo. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. Doing my best, trying to keep my head above water. Meanwhile, Damiani and Brad, level 70, level cap, probably already did the raid in Stormblood, gotta keep up. So we are Easy Allies. Find us on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all the social medias. I'm at Michael P. Huber. Tweet me about some of your favorite games in 2017. It's been a great year with plenty more to come, because next week, we're talking about the back half of 2017. See you then.
Time for the syndrome.
I was hanging out with my main man Don earlier today, and he looked over at me and he said, "Huber, you know, I fell behind in the strain, but I saw a new trailer and it looked off the rails." And I looked back at him and I said, "Don, it's the most off the rails you could possibly hope for in a TV show. It's like a freight train going down a mountain with no brakes." So check it out, Guillermo del Toro's The Strain. The final season is coming up. Catch up before then and we'll talk about it.